after their conversation.
Thank you, Elena. Woohoo. Naz, how you feeling?
Feeling great. Happy to be here with you. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Your book is truly a breath of fresh air. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. I love to take off the covers, and this is such a beautiful cover without the, what is that called on the outside?
Jacket.
Yeah, the jacket.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us to learn a little bit more about Naz and her amazing book. So you opened the book with talking about our greatest wealth is actually not money, but well-being. Can you just expand on that? I think that's so true. And we're witnessing that more than ever. Without health, we really don't have anything. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, we can have a fulfilling and successful career and have all the money in the world, like you said, with multiple homes, cars, boats, jets, whatever you want, and be surrounded by our loved ones. But if, we aren't actually feeling well, if we aren't well, how do you truly enjoy your life and thrive when you have dis-ease or are sick? And you, of anyone who did the documentary Heal, can completely relate to this. I mean, when you are mentally, emotionally, or physically ill, then how do you actually enjoy anything that you have? And I genuinely cannot think of any greater wealth than my well-being. And, working for Steve Jobs, he showed me that his well-being drove his success. So well-being in my book, quite figuratively and literally, is synonymous. That's pretty much how I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we see so many wealthy people unhappy or unhealthy. And well-being, when you talk about it that way, it makes me think that well-being is more than just physical health. It's mental health, it's spiritual health, because to have all those things to achieve and just, you talk about this so much in the book about how there's this imbalance between work and life, and everybody, especially in America, they're just like, do, action, action, action. We're not being, we're doing. And to me, as you talk about well-being, rather than just saying the words health, it's like spiritual well-being. We have to be able to be in a place where we can pause, breathe, and be mindful and be present. And if we're always aiming for this trajectory of success, we're never in the moment, and we're just stressed and doing and in burnout, exhaustion. So that in a nutshell says it all. And you get into how we can achieve that in your book, which is awesome. One of the most intriguing things about your story is that you were Steve Jobs' executive assistant and learned so much from him. Can you just give us a little ditty about kind of how he impacted your life and some of the main lessons or kind of wisdom that you took away from him?
Sure. So my experience at Apple was, working with Steve was highly influential and inspiring, to say the least. That was my first job right out of college. So I didn't really have anything to compare it to. I was young and just very highly influential at the time and working for, the greatest visionary of all time, in my opinion. But, it not only set me on the path to discover my passion and my purpose, but also, most importantly, it really allowed me to pursue. Working with Steve and watching him by example gave me the courage to pursue my passion and purpose, and eventually turn my passion and purpose into my profession, which is where I am today. So that I am highly, highly grateful for my experience there, because, creating a corporate wellness company back in, 2011, when I started, it was a very nascent industry. So I really created something that wasn't very common, and people didn't really understand at the time what I was doing, but I had to pursue my passion and purpose. And I haven't looked back since. Like, I truly am living it every day. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. And you weave in a lot of your personal journey, which is beautiful, and what makes the book such a easy read because we can all relate, right? For example, you talk about how pain is our greatest teacher for growth. And I think a lot of us have experienced pain of some sort this past year, and we're still experiencing pain of having to wear masks and small businesses closing and maybe tragic loss of a loved one. Talk a little bit more about how pain has been, how you've come to realize, because most of us, we talk about this in my film and book all the time, we have this natural reaction to resist pain, which that resistance to life, resistance to pain, is what causes dis-ease, right? That resistance. So how can we learn from pain, surrender, accept, and so that we can move forward? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I've learned that whatever you resist persists. So when you're resisting that pain, it's just going to keep persisting. So it's about, like you said, facing it, surrendering to it, learning from it. So pain at its worst invades and paralyzes us, making us vulnerable to chronic stress and dis-ease, like you said. And that's, in my opinion, when we choose to be a victim or be disempowered, as a result of the pain we experience. But at its best, pain is our greatest teacher and prompts growth. So it prompts growth and resilience. That's when we choose to be empowered and grow from our painful experience. So it's really up to us how we want to choose to perceive pain. We can either identify with it and let it define us, or we can choose to see the upside or the lesson, from that pain and evolve as a result of it. So pain is a tool for, promoting ourselves, to really bring us closer to becoming the CEO of our well-being. And you can truly treat it as that tool if you choose to look at it from that perspective.
Totally. And I believe, maybe this goes a little bit too spiritual, but from my research, from my journey of making heal, I've realized that, the universe, life, God, whichever terms you use, or maybe none of them, when we're off the path of our purpose, we get a little nudge, we get a knock, we get a whisper, we get a thing. And if we keep ignoring those messages that are trying to get us back on the path of what we came here to do, they're going to start getting louder and harder. And the pain is almost like an alarm bell going, whoa, look, you're in a toxic relationship. This is not in alignment with your highest self. You're in a toxic business environment. You are burning out and you're not sleeping enough. And that's why you broke your leg. It's trying to force you to slow down. So pain to me also is like, it is our opportunity for greatest growth. And it's kind of an alarm bell going, something is out of whack with what your purpose is, what you're here to do. And you talk great stories in the book about how you woke up and you got back on track through India and all these amazing adventures. So what is the MAP method? Talk to us about the MAP method.
So the MAP method is my holistic approach and framework to truly live your best life. And so MAP is an acronym. So MAP, M stands for mastering mindfulness, which is fundamental. And to your point about pain, we need to be mindful to actually hear and see those signs and know that we're in pain. We need to be mindful that we're stressed, we're overwhelmed, we're fatigued. If we're not mindful, then we're just continuing on autopilot or slipping into chronic stress. So mastering mindfulness is fundamental to the framework and living your best life. And then the A stands for apply better choices to manage stress and build resilience, and the 7 A's. And then P is for promote yourself to CEO of your well-being, along with the 3 P's, pain, prana, and purpose. And so this method is truly effective, what I've been using with my clients for over a decade in really allowing you to live your best life if you're able to implement it and truly live it.
I love it. And I love alliteration. So I love the 3 P's and 7 A's. So what are the 7 A's? Just to give us, I think, I'm sure a lot of people are taking notes, and they'll get the book and dive deeper, but just give us a little taste of what the 7 A's are.
Yeah. So the 7 A's are a set of interconnected strategies you could use to upgrade both your mindset and your habits to make better choices and live a healthy, engaged, and connected life. So this necessarily begins with the first 2 of the 7 A's. So, which is you must first adopt a healthy lifestyle, which is fundamental, and then allocate time for play and recovery in order to, effectively practice the other 5 A's. And this allows you to achieve success in all areas of your life, because when you adopt a healthy lifestyle and allocate play and recovery time, it sets you up for the other mindset shifts that are the following A's. And so the concept of the 7 A's evolved in fits and starts when I was working in corporate America. And I was experiencing stress and burnout. And, the 7 A's were designed really to help you make better choices and to cope and manage that stress. So I also look into building resilience so that you not only you go beyond bouncing back and surviving, but rather bouncing forward and thriving amid challenging situations. So essentially, the quality of your life depends on the quality of your choices, and the 7 A's help you make better choices.
Love that. And just the title of your book helps me make better choices, because sometimes we are in this kind of hamster wheel of reactivity. And if we don't have just those simple tools of, okay, something's getting thrown at us at life, we're getting triggered, pause, breathe, and then that brings us into the mindful present moment. And then we can make an informed choice rather than just what most of us do in survival, especially right now, choosing from a triggered reactive state. So you mentioned mindset upgrade. I think that is fundamental as well. I think we talk in Heal about how belief is pretty much everything. There's the placebo effect, nocebo effect, and your body responds to what you believe is possible. So if you believe the negative prognosis that your doctor gives you, you spiral down into exactly that outcome. So you have to kind of expand your beliefs. So you have to upgrade your beliefs and what's possible.
Exactly.
So talk to us about a mindset upgrade. How can we all get a mindset upgrade right now?
So, and the placebo effect, that was my favorite part of your book and your film, actually, because there's all those people who are all science-based and don't believe in, something like upgrading your mindset. Or I always say that, the placebo effect is scientific, because there are tons of studies that show that placebo effect is really, it's real. And people do get better having a placebo, just by believing that they're taking something to help themselves. So when you upgrade your mindset, you're essentially up leveling your perception and your attitude. It's all about attitude. And, for example, when you view a challenging situation as an opportunity rather than as a threat, you find yourself being, less judgmental. You replace judgment. I always like to say, replace judgment with curiosity and empathy, because we could all be very judgy, and I'm guilty of it too sometimes. And I remind myself, stop judging, but let's be curious and have empathy and compassion instead of being judgmental. And that's one way, for example, of upgrading your mindset from a mindset of judgment to curiosity.
Yeah, totally. And I get judgy. I think it's like a human natural thing, even though, my work is to help people. And I am very compassionate and I'm an empath. But you do your mind gets hijacked into judging because of fear. If we're driven by fear, and it usually is stemmed from our belief systems or our mental constructs. So if in that, reference, if you really understand that everybody is doing the best they can with the level of awareness and intelligence that they have, you can have more compassion and step back and go, okay, hold on, this person's not a terrible human. They're just doing the best they can. You have no idea what battles they're fighting in their lives. So I think that's a very important, especially right now in history when there's so much divisiveness and fear swirling about in the media, to upgrade, up level, what did you call it? Mindset upgrade away from judgment and towards compassion is key. So what are some of, I think, especially right now, to me, daily practices, because again, we could be hijacked into this negativity unless we consciously choose to have these daily practices to kind of keep us in the present moment, because when we're stressed, we're either, if we have anxiety, we're living about some future potential that hasn't happened yet. The worst case scenario, if we're depressed, we're usually regretting or resenting or something about the past. We're not in the present moment. So what are your daily practices to bring you well-being and peace in the present moment?
Well, pause, breathe, choose method is one of my favorite. And, the practice enables me to take a pause, like you said, from being stressed, from being fatigued, overwhelmed, whatever the case is, or just from mind wandering, right? We're mind wandering about the past, about the future. And it allows me to then pay attention to the present moment by taking that mindful breath. That mindful breath, or breaths, plural, really helps mitigate that stress and just instantly relaxes me and helps me just re-engage with the present moment. And essentially, it's like hitting the reset button to gain a fresh perspective. And so simple pause followed by that conscious breath better equips me to make a mindful choice. And it's really effective. And actually, my clients, I had a client yesterday who shared an amazing, cute story about how she was having a difficult conversation with her boss, the CEO of a company, yesterday. And there was some, miscommunication in the conversation. And instead of her, reacting and getting really upset, she actually excused herself from the conversation and went to the restroom and took a pause, breathe, choose. She's like, I ran to the bathroom and I just sat there and said, I need a pause. I need to take a breath, and I'm going to choose not to let him make me angry. I'm going to choose to be happy. I'm going to choose to not let this be, take this personally. And she's like, it worked. I love it. And so it was so funny that, people are even using it in the workplace, and it's, something I use all the time. So it makes me so happy to hear my clients are using it and it works. And you can use it anywhere, anytime, and it's super effective, simple, and powerful. That's one of the habits I do. But then also I love my morning routine, which is RPM squared, rise, pee, meditate for 20, followed by 20 minutes of movement. So love the M's. I love starting my day with meditation and movement, because no matter what happens the rest of the day, I feel good that I accomplished something that truly makes me happy and centered and grounded. Because like you said, we're all, stressed, and who knows what's going to happen in the day ahead of us. So many fires to burn out. So many fires to put out, things that we need to deal with. And starting it with a mindfulness practice and moving your body gets you in a better state. And then lastly, something quick I do is mindful self check-ins, where I just ask myself rapid fire questions like, are you breathing? Are you thirsty? Are you, how's your posture? Are you sitting up straight, or are you slouch? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you hearing? Just quickly assessing my subjective state of mind. And then that coupled with RWID, which is a psychological framework of relative weight of importance and duration. So based on my mindful self check-in, I see, am I giving myself, either my inner critic or my stress or, something too much weight and importance? If so, I, try to shift that and think, okay, I don't want to give that so much weight and importance, and I want to move on. I don't want that to occupy my energy and my space, mentally, physically, whatever the case is. So mindful self check-ins coupled with RWID are simple mental exercises I like to do to assess my subjective state of mind.
Amazing. And someone asked, how often would you suggest a person to check in with themselves, since it goes off of what you just said? Like, how often do you do it throughout the day? Is it like morning, noon, and night, or is it just whenever you feel triggered and ungrounded?
Yeah, whenever, sometimes like I feel like my postures, I start slouching, then I'm like, oh, sit up straight. Like, am I thirsty? And what am I thinking? What's my posture? It's something that it's, again, having that mindfulness foundation. It's when you feel anything, hear anything that could trigger that. So for me, it's about, 4 or 5 times a day, sometimes more, sometimes less. It's not like an exact science. It's just whenever you feel to do that. Some of my clients have put notifications on either their watch or their phone every 90 minutes to just beep and check in with themselves. That could be, a little disruptive for some people. That could also be a nice reminder for some people. So whatever works best for you, I highly encourage it.
Nice. Yeah. And I think the key word is practice, because I've been meditating for, I don't know, 8 years, since 2000. Oh no, I'm sorry, 13 years, since 2007. And so I think that just because you meditate, like I still will have days where I cannot get grounded. I'm out of, but you just, the more you practice, the more it becomes part of like your cellular memory. So while your client has that sweet story of running to the bathroom, and it's like, that's like, she's just exercising that muscle. But after a couple of years, after a few months, if she does that every time, she's just expanding her space so she can handle, her triggers will get less and less and less, and she could show up more present because she's been practicing, and so there's no end game to meditation. It just continues to get deeper and deeper with practice. And movement, you mentioned, I think is huge. I'm the same way. So many people have just stress or like a visceral reaction, however subtle, to thinking of exercise, like, oh, I don't want to do it. But I honestly, like, movement for me is mental health. It's like the body is just a bonus, like the shape and the health. I have to move my body just to like clear my head, get those endorphins going, which is our body's own kind of, pain relief. It's these chemicals that our body creates on its own, and we can turn on all these really positive responses in our body and hormone release through things like movement and meditation. So we have so much more power over our day-to-day lives and happiness and well-being than we've kind of been hypnotized to believe.
Yeah, movement. I completely agree with you on that as well. Like, even like the quickest way to change your state is to move, whether it's like full on exercise or just like getting up and moving, that is the quickest way to change your state. So anyone who's stressed or, fatigued, overwhelmed, whatever state you're in, that's not so positive, that's a negative state, just move your state. It's like when, kids are having a temper tantrum, they get sent to the, what is it? The timeout corner or something. It's like just physically even moving them there and moving their location and just having them shift from one state to another shifts completely their mindset and behavior. So for me, movement is everything. Like yoga and meditation are my two. That's like my medicine. I can't live without them. I'm addicted to them.
It's a great addiction to have. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so many people I've talked to throughout my journey, obviously about health and healing and research, people that suffer from depression, which, so many people these days, more and more, a lot of people said that what got them out of depression was movement. just starting with walking around the block. I mean, sometimes it's just walking from the couch.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? But just walk, like that movement, getting that limb system, telling your cells that you want to be alive. It's that movement is really powerful, and you take baby steps depending on where you are. But if you can just say, if I can move, my situation will change. And
Definitely.
yeah. So, let's see. What is the best advice you have ever received?
Well, actually, that ties very well into what we were just talking about. So the best advice that I have ever received was actually from my mother, and it was to meditate. But I wasn't ready to receive that advice when she gave it to me, so I dismissed it. And for years, I kept dismissing it because I was too stuck in like the productivity trap of being like, I need to, work hard and not waste any time and sit there and meditate, because she was recommending TM, Transcendental Meditation, as takes 40 minutes of your day. And I said, what are you talking about? I do not have 40 minutes to just sit there and do nothing. So no, thank you. And then finally, years later, when I was ready, I got initiated in TM, and it literally changed my life. I mean, I became a different person within just weeks of doing it daily. I mean, weeks. And I know you could relate to this as a practitioner yourself, but it really was the best advice. And I have to really thank my mother for that, because it's stayed with me. I started back in 2010, so it's been quite some time that I've been meditating, and I don't think I would be able to be in the position I'm in and be as calm, centered, clear minded without my meditation practice. I really don't. And I used to be so much more reactive to things and just like agitated, but now I respond rather than react. And I still get angry. I'm not like, I'm not perfect by any means, but I know to take a pause. Like I will literally take a pause and remove myself. I will move literally away from that situation to take a breather and then come back when I'm able to respond rather than react. And that's like one of the biggest things that meditation has done for me, as well as bring a ton of creativity in my life. So much has come out of my meditation that had to do with building my business, creating assessments for companies and people, and just things that just came to me while I was in the seated meditation, which I love because it clears your mind, or not necessarily clears it, because I still have thoughts. And that's like the biggest misconception of meditation is I can't meditate because I can't think. I mean, I can't stop thinking. But in reality, that's part of the process of meditation. And so many amazing things can come to your mind when you just quiet it a little bit and just, drop in to your heart and align your heart with your mind. And then so much like magic can happen in that moment. And just, I know you're totally relating to this because you experience it.
Totally.
So.
Yeah. And anyone curious about meditation, I'm sure there's meditators and non-meditators alike listening to this. But I really recommend, because I also learned TM, which was for me a 4-day process. But when you take an actual course and are given the mantra, but you actually learn the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual benefits of meditation. When you learn, you assign more meaning to it, and you're more likely to stick to the practice because you know the actual benefits, global benefits of the practice. And I totally agree with you. Meditation changed my life. I would have not been able to make it through this past year with so much peace and perspective. Because you don't have, in my movie, Marianne Williamson says, meditation is like we shower off the gunk of our day every day in the shower. We get the physical gunk off of us. Mm-hmm. Meditation is like a mental shower. It's mental hygiene. And we really need to look at it that way. It's so fundamental and essential to get rid of this stress that we just are accumulating from, we were just like smartphones and computers and notifications and we just get inundated, and our brains haven't evolved to be able to process this much information. And 75+% is negative and disempowering information out there. So we really, really need to practice our mental hygiene every day, which is for us meditation. But it could also be just like you said, and this is into my next question, so many of us have a belief that we need to do in order to achieve. Meditation can be doing something you love and gets you out of, like, gardening or hiking or painting. That could all get you into a meditative state where it clears your mind, and it's combined with play. So one of your A's is, allocating time for play. I feel guilty about that because I'm such a doer, go. And so talk to us a little bit about how important play is in doing things that you love, and how that will actually get you to success and achievement faster.
Right. Well, we were all born to play, right? It is in our nature, and we see it in children every day. Your daughter is always playing, you play with her. Like, it's in our nature. So play is how our creativity and joy flourish. And it's really how we learn. And so why should we compromise or give that up? Why should we sacrifice play when we get older? Because it's fun. Not only is it fun, it's considered its own kind of recovery, right? It's just a fun way to recover instead of just going to sleep. It's a different type of recovery because it's an opportunity for our brain to switch from a highly focused, goal-oriented, outcome and often pressurized mode to one that revels in the moment, that is free of pressure and expectations, right? There's no specific goal or outcome. You just are playing to have fun, and so play contributes to our well-being and our creativity and our joy. The other day when we had a snow day here in New York City, my husband and I took a break and we went across the street. There's a soccer field across the street and there was so much snow, and we went and made snow angels and a snowman and just had a snowball fight. And it was so much fun. I mean, we played like little kids, and we don't even have kids yet. But, imagine having kids and playing with those kids. We did it on our own as if we were the kids, and it just brought so much fun into our day. And we came back and worked, and, it was like a really nice pause, a rejuvenation and re-energizing pause in the day. And it was just super fun. And I highly recommend people to get out and play, whatever that means for you.
Yeah, totally. And part of, one of the essentials to healing is to increase positive emotions. So we are literally have the power to generate our own joy. I mean, that's the ultimate power. So it's one of the 10 key factors of healing that we discovered through Kelly Turner's research that you'll see in Heal, or read in Heal. And increasing those positive emotions literally releases oxytocin and all these positive neurochemicals throughout your body so that it gets it into a state of healing. So not only is playing, a productive way to recover, but it releases healing chemistry into your body. So that's cool.
Love it. Yeah. There's so many benefits of it, in addition to it being fun. And a lot of people have just let go of fun, especially amidst a pandemic.
Exactly. No, exactly. We need it now more than ever for our sanity.
Yeah.
I think we'll do one more question and then we'll get to some questions. So let's see. Okay. Business hacks. What are some, because I know you're like a executive or corporate coach. Give us a business hack or two that you recommend.
Well, there's so many. Let's see. So one of them that I've been using a lot with my clients that they found very helpful is that, we have to alter our communication and in a way that resonates with the person you're communicating with. So what sets a good leader apart from a great leader is the way they communicate. And according to my NLP training, neuro linguistic programming training, there are 4 preferred communication styles, which are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and digital. So when you look at and hear and feel the way people communicate, for example, visual communication, communicators, they see the world, they're very visual, and they learn through imagery, not through not through words, it's through their visual senses. So if you alter your language to include more key words such as see or focus or notice this or lighten up or in view of, these are all like visual keywords that would resonate with someone who learns through visual communication. And then auditory communicators hear the world. So they respond well to spoken instructions, and they do better on conference calls as opposed to like visual communicators who would be better, on PowerPoint presentations. They tend to use keywords and phrases such as listen or resonate, hear, on that note. So it's like being mindful of the way people speak, the words they use. And then the kinesthetic communicators feel the world. So they learn they learn through doing, and through hands-on experiences. And they're not the most succinct communicators because they go more by their gut feeling and intuition. And their words to look out for are using the word feel, or I feel this, I grasp this, I can't put a finger on it, can't get a hold of that, those type of keywords or phrases. And then lastly, the auditory digital communicators are really a combination of all 3 of those common types. And so they like to analyze communication for deeper meanings and message, and they're looking for all those 3. So they really respond well to words such as a combo like think, learn, understand, consider. They're all about a combo, and not everyone is one or the other. A lot of people are a combo of all those. Like I know for sure I'm a combo. Like based on what I said, can you pinpoint what type of communicator you are just based on those phrases? I mean, it's mostly a combination, but some people can genuinely say, no, I'm more visual or I'm more auditory.
Yeah, definitely a combo, because I'm very visual, but then I go intuitive. So I'm all about resonance, which is the auditory as well, and the feeling. So you're saying this is great, because I think listening is a lost art, and it's a superpower.
Yes.
Someone said that recently, but it's true. And
so true.
So this kind of business hack gets you listening to the person that we are just in conversation and we're thinking of the next thing we're going to say based on what you just said. But if you can just listen and with the intention of picking up the way someone speaks, and then we go, okay, so which kind of, I think they're more like this communicator. And then you can communicate with them using their kind of preferred language. I think that's so smart. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, it builds instant rapport when you're speaking their language and you're on their wavelength, and you even repeat back the words they're using. They realize you're actually really listening to them and understanding them. So instant rapport building, and that I learned that through my NLP training, and it's been highly effective with leadership presence, leadership effectiveness, and it's really, really effective.
Cool. So I'll just kind of look at these questions here. Do you have any thoughts on hypnotherapy?
I don't really have much experience with hypnotherapy. Do you? I don't really.
I've tried every healing modality in the book. I'm a big believer of hypnotherapy because, we learned so much on the journey of Making Heal, but one of the biggest takeaways was that, between the ages of 0 and 7, so in utero to 7 years old, the way our brains are developing, we're literally just sponges. And we're like a supercomputer, our brains, but we are just, during that window of time, we're downloading other people's programs, and those programs become our subconscious beliefs and our autopilot for life. But the bummer is they're subconscious in order to make us very efficient and to be able to do things without thinking about them. So we're not even aware that we have some of these negative and disempowering belief systems. And beyond that, they're not even our belief systems. We've adopted them from other people, which is why things get passed down generationally until we wake up, become conscious, and decide to switch our beliefs. So hypnotherapy is a great modality to get below the subconscious or into the subconscious to see kind of, you know, past traumas that are stuck or belief systems or, you know, things that we've repressed or suppressed so that we can bring them to the surface, to the light, to be healed. So I'm a big believer in hypnotherapy.
I'll have to try it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's worked for people, addictions. It's worked, you know, it's kind of like Norton antivirus. You can go in there and clean out anything that's no longer, it's an upgrade to the system. You can clean up something that's no longer serving you.
Love that.
Yeah. Best meditation sources. We both studied TM. So I think Transcendental Meditation, if you're really intrigued, if this is resonating with you, I would recommend learning from a TM teacher, a certified teacher. And that way, again, you anchor it with some real meaning and understanding of the benefits so that you stick to the practice longer. But then, you know, I do TM, but I also do guided meditation. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. He's amazing. So many, I mean, then there's all these great apps like Calm and Headspace and that just provide a ton of guided meditations. But like I said, I think if you can anchor it with this TM practice and you know, a mantra, then you have all the tools available to you because you could do it by yourself. It's for free, you know, after you invest in the class, of course. And then you know, it's this free tool that is life-changing and leads to so much abundance and well-being.
So much. Yeah. I'd also recommend that to take explorative action around meditation because there's so many different types of meditation from, you know, like Kelly said, TM, which I'm a huge proponent and definitely, you know, encourage you to try that. But if that one doesn't work for you, there's, you know, different types that focus on your breath, on, you know, an object, on so many different types that one type that may work for us may not work as well for you. So don't give up on it. If you try one and it's not, you know, the best fit for you, try a different type. And that's with anything in life, with different types of exercises, with anything. But meditation in particular, there are just so many different types. So I highly encourage you to try different ones till you find the one that you absolutely love.
Totally. I love that. So Serena is asking if someone's just starting on their well-being journey, where would you suggest they start? And any nutrition tips? This is a big question. We need a whole nother webinar. But if you just want to give some tips, I love what you just said about, you know, this explorative action, but some kind of things that you think are pertinent.
Yeah. So taking explorative action to find out what resonates again. We use these words with you, because I believe in the bio-individuality theory that what works for me may not exactly work for you. So the basics of, you know, adopting a healthy lifestyle, like for example, you know, getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, eating healthy and clean. I love Michael Pollan's way he describes eating. Eat plants, not to, or what is the 7 words how he describes Michael Pollan? Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. There you go. That's like the easiest way to eat clean, according to Michael Pollan. And it's just, but what resonates most with you. So starting with your own habits, creating your own healthy habits from sleep, nutrition, exercise, and mindfulness practice. Not doing too much at once because it's not sustainable when you try to change your whole life around. So choosing one thing to start and starting small, and then just building upon that, and then keeping in mind taking explorative action to see what works best for you is what I would recommend. And start with our books, Pause, Breathe, Choose, and Heal, and see what what works for you out of those books, and start there.
Totally. And I would just add, sleep is crucial. Movement is crucial. Mindfulness is crucial. And obviously a foundation of clean eating and detoxifying your products and what you're putting in your body. But, there's like health coaches. There's so many new practitioners that are just like you do for wellness in the workplace and executive coaching and everything. There's so many health coaches now, integrative health coaches that can help kind of shepherd you on your journey. So you may want to look into one of those. Also, I think the key is awareness. Start cultivating awareness. So when you eat something, we are all bio individuals. So whatever Michael Pollan says might work for you, it might not. There's probably a diet book for every, there's
Right.
probably 7.8 billion diet books on it, because not one diet fits all. So really your body is a feedback mechanism. It's in constant communication with you with symptoms and processes and reactions. So when you eat something, eat slowly, mindfully, see how it feels on your body. So, we move through so fast that we're not even paying attention to these constant feedback that your body is giving you. So like I can eat maybe dairy and my nose will start running, or if I eat a lot of processed sugar, I get literally like angry. Like I get like really short fused because my blood sugar just like goes crazy. And if you start to pay attention and connect it to sugar, I really don't crave sugar because I know the effect on my body. And so it's really anchored in awareness and pay attention to how you feel after a workout. Maybe one workout makes you feel, energized, and another makes you feel depleted. You let your body tell you what it needs, craves, wants. And sometimes your body will really just need rest and play. And it will tell you that. So practicing mindfulness will be the first step and the most trusted partner on your journey. Your body is your biggest ally, and it will keep guiding you through symptoms and feedback along the way, if you're on the right path or the wrong path. And even to the point of like going, I would recommend finding an integrative or functional medicine doctor. Purely Western doctor can be great for some sort of specialty or acute illness, but for chronic illnesses or, vitality, you want to find someone that is integrative and functional, that treats you like a whole person, not just like an individual specialties. And on that note as well, there was one other thing I was going to say, and the thought just left me. But yeah, your body will give you feedback. Oh, this is what it was. When you go to a doctor, and again, this is resonance. Maybe you don't speak this language, but so many of these healing stories, they went to a doctor and the doctor told them something, or they felt rushed, or they didn't feel validated or heard. That's not your doctor. So the same with a health coach, the same with an eating plan. If it doesn't resonate with you, if it doesn't feel right, if there's something like, it doesn't sound right, it's not your thing. So pay attention to that energy and that feedback. And again, if you meditate, those signals and that connection and communication between your body and your mind and your heart will become much louder and clearer.
Love that. Yep, exactly.
So yeah, let's see. Any other questions? I guess we'll invite Elena back on, and final thoughts. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
That was really great to hear both of you talk. I feel even more calm than I did at the beginning. Resonance is definitely a recurring theme between both of your works, and I did see a few comments that people ordered both of your books, so that's great. I think it was a message well received. So thank you so much for taking the time to do this, and sharing your wisdom on a Saturday. I know everybody is very busy. And thank you for everyone for joining us. If you don't have their books ordered, you can still reach them at the Books Inc. website. The links are in the chat. You can also just search them on the Books Inc. website. We'll get them sent out as soon as possible. And the recording of this will be viewable on YouTube very soon. So if you want to re-listen to it, meditate to it, gather some cherries of wisdom that I think maybe we all I was taking notes the whole time for things. So if there's anything that any of you missed, you will be able to listen again and share it with your friends and family and anyone who may need some guidance. And everybody have a great day. And I hope it's very calm. I feel like I'm breathing slower, and I am thankful for that. So, look at that. There it is again. Thank you so much to both of you. That was a really delightful talk. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Congrats.
Kelly.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.